The most painful things about each BT6 tower, which is Juggernaut, when the balls just don't bounce correctly and you don't hit the balloon. Plasma Monkey Fan Club, when you use the ability but it's just a tad bit too short and it just doesn't pop all the balloons. Crossbow Master, when it does not hit the critical shot whenever you need it to and you leak just because of that and you lose. Glaive Lord, when it becomes literally useless in the late game because the ceramics are too buffed up and there's fortified ceramics and Moabs and BFBs and ZMGs, and you get my point, you know. Charge, when you think that you're alright with just having it and not having any other defenses, but you use the ability and it does literally nothing to the B.A.D and you just lose. Mob Domination, when you forget to get any ceramic cleanup and you just have the mob popping power and you pop the mobs, yes, you do it, it's good, but then a ceramic leaks and you just pretty much lose. Balloon Crush, when you have it to slow down the mobs that are coming in, but the mobs get more and more and more and more, and eventually you get it pierce capped and they go through. When you think that you're gonna be okay with a mob eliminator because it does like 10 or 20,000 damage, and then the B.A.D comes by and you use the ability and it doesn't even scratch it. Bomb Blitz, whenever you rely on the passive ability to pop all the ceramics on the screen, but you leak a blue and you think that you're gonna be alright, but it's too much HP and you lose because of that. Inferno Ring, whenever you have extra pierce on the meteor and it hits one target, but after that it just roams around the other targets and doesn't hit anything until like 10,000 years later. Super Maelstrom, you might call this one a skill issue, but it's whenever you use the ability not at the right time and then it doesn't do any damage, and whenever you do need it you don't have it now. Dark Zone, whenever you realize that its range is way too little to be used on expert maps, so you just simply do not use it. Super Brittle, when you haven't gotten camo detection because you know that Super Brittle can de-camo, but then a DDT comes through and the Super Brittle is just too slow to hit it and you lose. Absolute Zero, when you realize the sad truth that no one uses this tower, it's only viable in challenges. Ice Cream Pay, when you know that you have bought it and you're alright and you shouldn't be worrying about anything, especially DDTs, but then a DDT comes through and you realize that you haven't bought the MIB. Bloons Over, when you don't look at the patch notes and you don't realize that it's been buffed to heaven and you don't use it because it was charged before but now it's not and you're just dumb. Glue Storm, we have yet another skill issue. When you use the ability but you don't use it at the right time and it doesn't hit the mobs that you need, and then when you do need it you do not have it. Super Glue, when you have it as your DDT defense and you do have the MIB, you have everything, it can hit DDTs but it just misses the DDT and lets it go past. Cripple Moab, when you think that it's a reliable mob stunning popping power, but then you realize that the attack speed is literally slower than a turtle and it's not as reliable as you think and you have to get some other tower up for the mob. Elite Sniper, when you get it up for damage and you think that you're gonna be okay just with it, and then you realize that it's not a damage dealer and that the elite option doesn't do much and that if you don't get anything down else you are gonna be screwed. Elite Defender, when you get it up in chimps and you think that it's gonna be a good tower, it's gonna be able to carry you, yes, it's gonna be perfect, but then you realize that the 4 times attack speed from losing a life is not possible in chimps. Energizer, when you get it down and you're feeling absolutely fantastic, I have this tower that reduces cooldowns and also increases hero speed but only in its range, and you realize that you haven't put your heroes in its range. The First Strike ability, I have another skill issue. When you use the First Strike and hits the B.A.D, yeah, it's fine, but then you realize that you're gonna be needing it for the more powerful B.A.D and you simply do not have it. Sub Commander, when you accidentally get the Heat Darts crosspath on it and instead of having the good crosspath you have the Heat Darts and you can't sell it because you're on chimps, so you're just simply stuck with it. Aircraft Carrier, when you have towers on top of it and you wanna sell the carrier and you do not realize that it's gonna sell the towers on top of it too, and so you do it and then you kind of lose because you don't have towers. Pirate Lord, when the ability is not enough for all the DDTs that you want to hook in and those sneaky little dark guys go past. Oh, that sounds racist. The money boat thing that I forgot the name of, when you don't have any more space for merchantmen and you haven't yet reached the 20 times limit, so you are just simply not at the maximum amount of cash that you can get. Sky Shredder, when shredding the sky so hard that it even starts shredding your computer, first starting off with a lot of smoke, then crashing the game, then making your house on fire, then having to call 911, then dying. Bomba. When it does way too little damage to anything on screen, and especially if it's a B.A.D, it cannot stun it, so it it loses. Flying Fortress, when you forget that Aesop is the captain of the plane, so it's the most overpowered thing on Earth, and you for some reason aren't using it because you're dumb. Apache Prime, when you get Pursuit on it because you can't not, because it's like the top path, and the Pursuit goes crazy and it can't even hit a singular balloon because it's going from one balloon to another. Special Preparations, when it requires so much micro, you need to be over the balloons to put the little guy on there, you need to be pressing the ability to be getting the cash, or you need to have it the little guy that does the ability for you. Comanche Commander, when you remember all the nerves that it has gotten and you just give up. The biggest one, when you get to such a late round, the ceramics get too powerful to even get popped by it. Popping all, you might call this one a skill issue yet again, but when you mistime the ability, just so that you use it at the wrong time before the powerful balloons have gotten onto the screen, and whenever you do need it, you do not have it. Bloons Generation, when your micro is so bad that you miss absolutely every single shot with it, leaving you with death. The Ray of Doom, when you have it on a straight line and a ceramic balloon barely goes past, and you have to unlock it to pop that ceramic balloon, but then the blimps are getting too far and you have to put it on the blimps again, and you just get too overwhelmed and you lose. The M.A.D, when it gets overwhelmed by too many rounds by having too little pierce, so you have to either get the bottom cross path or get some like alchemist or something on it. The Bloon Exclusion Zone, when you forget that this thing cannot pop lead and you do not give it an MIB or an alchemist, and so you just die to something like DDTs. Archmage, when you've heard that it has all tier 3s of the wizard and you think that it has camera detection, but then you realize that it's just shimmer and the shimmer is too slow and you lose to DDTs. Wizard Lord Phoenix, mate, there's too many skill issues in this video, but here's another one. When you use it at the wrong time on the wrong balloons and you do not have it for the right ones. Prince of Darkness, when there are too little actual balloons on the screens and too many Moabs, so you can barely even get the graveyard up, and even when you do, it's not even that much. The True Sun God, when you think that you've got all your sacrifices, 50k from this, 50k from this, 50k from this, and then you press that upgrade button and it doesn't turn black. Anti-Bloon, when even the anti-Bloon ability somehow gets pierce capped and everything is, it's just, you're gonna die. The Legend of Night, when you've just used up your ability for some big balloon like a B.A.D, and then a DDT sneakily goes through all your defenses and you don't have the ability again and you die. The Grandmaster Ninja, when you forget to surround it with like-minded people like the Shinobis and you don't get that extra 20 times attack speed and like nothing happens actually. No one actually uses this tower. The Grand Sabotage. Alright boys, we've got another skill issue in here. When you use the ability and it's not in the right time, or maybe it's too late and the balloons have already gone out and they aren't damaged by the ability and you've only got them slowed down. The Master Bomber, when he throws a bomb at a DDT but the DDT is too fast and just misses the bomb and you die. Perma Brew, when Benjamin takes the brew, like Benjamin, could you just not? Total Transformation, when you realize that no one uses this tower because it's absolute garbage and it doesn't have any synergies. Bloon Master Alchemist, when you've only got one life and it turns a BFB into a red balloon and that red balloon has no one to get popped by and it just goes through and makes you lose. Superstorm, whenever it gets pierce capped, I guess. I don't know, I don't use it. I don't think anyone uses it at all. Spirit of the Forest, whenever you use the Vine Pop ability, but that ability does literally nothing to the balloons except make them stunned for like 5 seconds. Avatar of Wrath, when you're in a rush to get it in a boss and you accidentally get the top cross path instead of the middle one, is just painful. The Banana Central, when you don't have any monkey farmers, so you have to collect the bananas yourself, which is just, I mean, who wants to do that? The middle part banana farm thingy, when you forget to be pressing the ability, which is kind of the main point of the tower, so you're just dumb. The Monkey Wall Street, when you realize that it barely even makes money and most people just use it as a substitute for the farmer. Super Mines, when you realize that it has literally no pains and it is one of the best towers, but for some reason absolutely no one uses it. Carpet of Spikes, when both the passive and the active abilities get used, but it still does literally no damage to the B.A.D. Perma Spikes, I am sorry about that, Perma Spike. You should rest in peace. I'm not ever gonna talk about you. Primary Expertise, when it misses absolutely every single shot that it shoots. Like, brother, can you not just get aimbot like the sniper can? Homeland Defense, I'm gonna tell the tale of another skill issue. Imagine, it's your boss run, and you have the Avatar of Wrath. The boss has not spawned in, but you accidentally press 1 and you activate homeland defense, and then you do not have it for the boss. Monkeyopolis, when the farms are barely not in range of the monkey city and you don't have enough cash to get an overclock to increase the range and you just suffer. Century Champion, when it takes a bajillion years just to place like 5 centuries. At that point I just got boosted because it's better that way. XXXL Trap, when the trap literally just gets filled up by 1 0MG and then it takes 5 years to place down another one. Megalodon, when you see all the OP videos on YouTube about it and you go and see what all the fuzz is about and then you realize that it's been nerfed to the ground. Gigantus Skillish land again, when you mistime the ability and you don't have it. I've said this like a million times this video.